Hello everyone, it's Jessica here with another layout for the Therm web design team, and today I'm going to show you how to use the all-new Color Harmony foil packs. So these packs come in packs of 20 with 4 different colors in them, and I'm going to be using a couple different packs today. I think I'm going to use the turquoise and the gold ones. So I am making another spread for my travel notebook. This is something new for my Therm web videos. I haven't done any of these for Therm web yet, so I thought it was about time. And I actually did a spread the other day for one of my other teams. Hiya. And sorry, my baby girl is here beside me too. And I did a spread for one of my other design teams the other day that I really loved with layered stencils. And I thought I can do that again here, but with foil instead. So I'm super excited to share this today. So if you've watched any of my videos for my travel album before on my own channel, then I like to create these little spreads for a little traveler's notebook, and I use all of my camping photos in it. So it's really cut down on my 12 by 12 pages because typically my pages only have 1 or 2 photos on them. Sometimes they have more, but typically only 1 or 2. And I was just getting a ton of camping 1 page or 1 photo layouts in my books, and they were just getting so full. So I thought this would be a good idea to do to cut down on my larger layouts. Anyways, so I am starting this one out with the Buenos Dias collection by American Crafts. It's an older one, but I still have this in my stash, and I thought, you know what, I need to pull it out and use it. So it's a really beautiful collection, and I pulled out this smaller paper pad, one of the pattern papers from it, and cut a couple of those strips. I thought they looked really cool how they were just kind of wavy, and I'm going to do some machine stitching on those as well. But something I learned along the way with this layout, if you're going to foil on your layouts and do machine stitching, do your machine stitching before you do any foiling, because mine kept getting caught up in my presser foot on my sewing machine, so it was kind of sticking to it, and then it smudged a little bit of my foil and kind of scratched it up a little bit, which I don't particularly mind because my layouts are kind of that grungy feel anyways, so it just goes perfectly with mine anyhow. But that's my recommendation. So I've got 3 photos here that I'm using today. As you can see, I've just pulled out various scraps from my paper pad that I've used before, and I've just used them to layer my photos. So I just added a couple little patterns in there, and now I'm on to my stenciling. So I've pulled out my Deco Foil Duo Transfer Gel. This is the Duo. There's also the Blanco gel. So the Duo dries clear where the Blanco gel dries white. So if you're using it on say like dark cardstock and you want to see where you put it, you might want to use the white, but this one dries clear. I honestly don't particularly care which one I use. It's just kind of whatever I grab at the time. So I've grabbed the Blanco gel today and some stencils from my stash. This one's by Paper Rose Studio. The other one was from the Crafters Workshop. So I'm just basically putting random stencils onto my page kind of around where my photos are going to go. And when you apply this, you want to apply it in a thin layer. You don't want it too chunky because it takes a long time to dry, and you want to allow about 40 to 45 minutes dry time. It does depend on your humidity probably, but here I live in Pennsylvania, so I don't really have a lot of humidity. So for me, it takes about 40 minutes to dry. I did allow a little bit longer for the piece on the right to dry because I got it a little bit thick on that top stencil, and I was really waiting for that to dry. And what happens is if it's too thick, when you run it through your hot laminator, it kind of reactivates it and smushes it. So it just kind of makes it into a little blob if it's too thick on there. So you want to make sure you get it nice and thin. And honestly, if I would have used that stencil pal from the shop, it would have made it a lot easier. But I didn't feel like taking the time to tape off everything I didn't want because the stencil pal is kind of big. So that's why I just used my little palette knife. So I've got all my stenciling on there now. I went through and cut out some little circle reinforcement hole in the center of my album, and you saw me pull out my page protector there. It has the previous page that's actually going to go on the other side of my book, so I pulled that out, and I'm going to slip this left side page into that page protector when I'm done, but I added the holes onto there as well, so they were decorated too. So I've got both my pages here. I'm just going to continue to do a lot of stamping on this. So I've pulled out some stamps by Visible Image, Studio Calico, and there's just lots of random ones from my shop. I think there's even a Simba Stories one from their travel, one of their travel lines. So I've just pulled out a lot of different stamp sets, and I've got my photos here. I'm just keep placing them back over my spread to see exactly where I want it to go so I can stamp around it. But I am just using my clear acrylic blocks to stamp. Some black archival ink is my main color that I'm stamping. Now, mind you, I'm still waiting for that to dry, that Deco Foil Duo Transfer Gel. So I'm just being very careful about stamping around where that Duo Gel is so that I don't smear or smudge it. So I've got my stamp cleaner here. I know a lot of people ask how I clean my stamps. I actually use, this is going to sound funny, I actually use the stamp cleaning pad here by Stampin' Up, but then my stamp cleaner that I really like is from Close to My Heart, but I just heard that they are actually closing down, so I'm going to have to make sure I stock up on that stuff. But I'm sure Stampin' Up probably sells a cleaner too, but that's what I like to use to clean my stamps. So I've got my foam board here underneath my spread that I'm stamping on. That way it creates a nice soft platform whenever I'm actually stamping. And I'm just doing lots of random bits. I'm pulling on some Distress ink here in Stormy Sky. And I also pulled in some Evergreen Bough for the adventure stamp that I did above. And I stamped that in Evergreen Bough and in the black archival ink. So I'm mainly just stamping in black, but I'm just pulling in a few different colors. This one's dried marmalade or dried, I can't remember, and I can't see it. It's so small on my screen whenever I edit these videos. I know you guys can probably see it and you're laughing at me right now, but I can't read it whenever I'm actually recording these videos. So I will put it down in the comments below if you guys want to grab it from any of the shops. So I have lots of stamps here beside me. I'm just going to continue stamping on these while this Duo gel dries, and I'm just creating a lot of randomness in my page to go around those photos. I figured I'd speed that up a little bit. So I've got my Fuse laminator tool that I have pulled in. It's heating up now, and I've grabbed some craft and carrier sheets. This is actually a craft and carrier sheet that I cut down so it was lengthwise, and it's really long so that I can fit these in through there perfectly, because it only does about, like, I think 6 or 7 inches if I remember right. And mine are, I think my bigger one is 5 inches. So I've pulled out my turquoise and my gold foil packs here, and I've pulled out 3 different colors. I'm using aqua, the ocean one with the hearts, and then the gold one was the rose gold. So I'm just going to cut out pieces. When you do your foiling, you want to make sure your foil is big enough to overlay over the whole area that you're foiling, or over the whole gel, Duo gel area, if that makes sense. So I do like to overhang mine just a little bit. Now this other page is still kind of drying because of that thicker spot that I have, so I'm just going to let it alone for now while this one runs through. But this is this video is sped up a little bit, but this is like real time. This is how long it takes to run through. It goes through slowly, but it's actually pretty fast if you ask me. So I've got all these beautiful foiled stencils now. Doesn't that look so pretty? I just love it. And I love that ocean heart one. It's just so gorgeous. I've got my photo here. It's already layered up and ready to go down on my layout. I'm going to go ahead and place this down here in a minute, but I want to actually stamp a little border beside that photo. So I know more is more in my case. I'm always adding stuff to my layouts, and I just typically don't know when to stop, but I'm going to add a little border strip to the right side of my photo yet, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick it down. The adhesives that I'm using today is my tape runner. It's the Memory XL tape runner. It's pink. It's cute. Fits in your hand great. I love it. And what's really great about it, in my opinion, is that it's super, super easy to refill. So it's not like my other big, bulky ATG gun, which I also love, but this one, it's just so simple. You literally push a button, it pops apart, and you put in a new refill. It's so easy, and it just fits in your hand so nice. So it's really, really great for doing smaller projects like this, or if you're card maker, it's just so easy to just grab that and use. So I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and stick my photo down here in a moment. I might have already done it. I can't remember now. So I've got that there. I'm going to add some twine at the top too, probably tie it in a little bow. But for now, I'm going to kind of clean up this area and move some things around so that I can add some watercoloring here. I'm just using that same Distress Oxide color in Evergreen Bough, and I'm just going to color in some of these circles. I really thought that they just looked like they needed something extra, and that thought just occurred to me that I'm going to color these in. So I've just watered down some of that Distress Oxide ink and added it to my little circles using my paintbrush. Super easy and fun, and just a little something extra you can do on your pages or your cards. And I've got more stamps coming. I know, crazy, but I have more stamps that I'm going to put on this layout. And then I will finish running that other page on the left through my laminator here in just a moment. I'm basically just working on this other page while that one on the left dries so that I can foil that one. So I'm just kind of stamping more random little bits from all of my little stamp sets that I have out. This one's by Close to My Heart, I think, that photo favorites one. So I've got lots and lots and lots of stamps in my stash, and you guys can do this. Like, it's so easy to create something like this, just random. Just grab some stamps from your stash and just go to town. So I've got my foil here back again, and I am just layering this side up. I'm making sure that I cover all that gel. Well, trying to. I actually had to run it through twice because I didn't cover it all the first time perfectly. So I'm going to run it through once here, and then I will skip forward and run it through again because I missed one little spot. So I fast forwarded this video here. In a second, you'll see this will be the second time that it's coming out. And I actually wasn't sure if you could run it through twice, if it would mess it up at all, but it didn't. I left my foils on most of them. It didn't mess the other ones up at all. So you can see that it's kind of a little bit blobby in the top one because that's the one that I had thick, but it doesn't matter because it's actually a paint splotch kind of stencil anyways. So it doesn't matter to me that it's got a little bit bigger than it was supposed to be because it looks just fine. So I've got my photos here. I'm going to go ahead and stick these down and layer those up. And I've done my, I'm going to do some machine stitching on the top and bottom of it. And this is where I was talking about earlier. If you want to do machine stitching like I just did, make sure that you do that before you foil so that you don't mess up any of that beautiful foil that you did. So here's my twine coming in. I'm just tying this in a bow so that it's not hanging out anywhere. I like it to be clean on this one, despite everything else being super, super busy. So I've just got my Hemtique twine there. And then I'm pulling in little bits from this Buenos collection and some Vicky Boutin, actually. I'm pulling in some of the Discover and Create collection as well. I thought the colors really went well with this layout and my randomness here. So I'm just pulling in a few pieces like these little stickers from the title pieces. I'm going to use this one that says this is my happy place. And I'm just going to use that as my title for both of these pages. So it worked out perfectly. I'm just adding a few more little bits from this, and then that's pretty much going to finish this one off. So I will pop some music in here while I finish this up, and then I'll stop back in at the end. Here is the finished spread. I absolutely love how this one turned out, and with all that beautiful foil. So if you guys want to grab any of those Harmony foils, I will put the links down below in the description so you can grab them from the shop if you want them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I've inspired you to create something today and have fun with it. So thank you guys so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.